All righty. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And I wanted to dispel a rumor because I've had a number of residents come up to me, and some joyously, some not so joyously, saying, hey, we hear you're leaving in like a year. Bonkers. All right, whoever's spreading it, stop it. Now, if I win the lottery, it's a different story. All right, but you're stuck with me for a bit longer than that. So I just wanted to get that out because I got hit with it again today. All right, so put that aside. For better or for worse, you're stuck with me. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a new technology, and we're going to give you an overview, all right, of what this is. It's cutting edge. If you utilize all of the benefits that it has, we'll be the first community in the country to actually use this. It's a pilot, all right? So understand we're piloting this. And we have a number of residents that are our resident champions that are with us today, that are also modeling the latest version of what we're going to be talking about. It's not activated, but you can look at it, all right? And we're going to take roughly the next 30 to 40 days, and we're going to test it. All right, and they've been very involved for the last 2.5 months, learning about it, giving feedback, some very valuable feedback, so that we can tweak everything. But then we're going to, in real life, test it, make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. So we're going to give you an overview. I know that we gave everybody a bunch of propaganda, so please make sure you read it because there will be a test later on. All right, but we're going to go through a lot of education. So this is kind of an overview for everybody. And then when I'm done with the presentation, as long as you're still awake, we'll go to any questions. I'll answer any and all questions that I can. If I don't have an answer for you, or if some of the individuals here don't have an answer for you, we'll get it. All right, you ready? Okay, let's start. Now, this is the first time I'm doing this presentation, so I'm going to seek forgiveness in advance. All right, please. Brian Robbins, who is our COO, and most of you have met Brian at one point or another, he was supposed to be here to do this part of the presentation. However, at 2 o'clock in the morning, they finally canceled his flight out of Dallas. So I'll be doing this part of the presentation. Jesse Jansen, our CEO, has taped a little something for you. We're going to go right to that right now. Hopefully.
Hello, Harbours Edge. It's a pleasure to join you today. I'm thrilled to introduce this upcoming pilot of Tempo, powered by CarePredict, as we prepare to launch this new technology across the whole LifeSpace family. While I wish I could be there in person today, I know you're in great hands with the dedicated team members leading this town hall. As a resident of one of our LifeSpace communities, we're committed to you and to your well-being. We believe that fostering a community environment where residents can thrive independently as long as possible will empower you to live your aspirations. That's why we've done some pretty extensive research to identify what are the innovative solutions available that enhance resident well-being. Resulting from this research, we believe that the upcoming pilot launch of Tempo, powered by CarePredict, represents this next frontier in our health and wellness and security for our residents. We're proud to serve as pioneers in this area, and we're excited to share in this journey with you. We recognize that technology sometimes can feel overwhelming, but please be assured that the LifeSpace family is here to support you through every step of the process. Thank you for your participation and for your feedback, which is going to be really valuable in shaping this initiative. We look forward to taking these next steps together.
All right, thank you, Jesse. All right, Zach, where is he? Our regional vice president. He's got a role here too.
All right, hey, good afternoon. Is it afternoon? It is. It's afternoon, everybody. Hey, good afternoon. Is Clyde? Do I see Clyde anywhere? Clyde? Okay, can you hear me better now? Okay, good. Is that good? Okay, Clyde's not in here today. Oh, he's on a cruise. Okay, because I was going to thank Clyde for starting that rumor that I asked him to start about Jim leaving in here. So, but
That's enough out of
that's
Zach.
enough out of
Very much.
Right. The other thing is I was going to do this in Spanish just to see if anybody can keep up, but I don't speak Spanish, so we're gonna move past that as well. So thanks everybody for letting me come. I know a lot of you. I don't know everybody, and I'm sorry. It's a lot with 5 communities to know just about everybody. But anytime anybody wants to contact me, you're more than welcome to. I'm the regional vice president for LifeSpace. I've been here for about 1.5 years now. And so I oversee Florida right now, and had the privilege of working with Jim. I love working with Jim. I'm not saying that because he's in the room. I promise you I'd say that if he is or isn't. I love working with Jim and the Harbours Edge team, and I'm glad that we can look at this program and begin to roll it out. So I only have a couple of slides, and then we're going to jump back to Jim. So again, at LifeSpace, and you'll hear me say this a lot, your safety, security, and health are our top priority. Okay? Sometimes y'all will even come to me with a complaint or a concern, and if it has to do with something you're asking for defeats safety, security, and health, I can't always help you because that's our #1 priority. We want to serve you great meals. We want to have great activities, great things to do, but we always want to make sure that your safety, security, and health are #1. So we, all the people with me, we want you to thrive independently for as long as possible. And again, the word "we" is in there because Jim and I weren't really your presenters earlier. That's Rick Oris, another one of our vice presidents, everybody. So we were not actually originally your presenters. So you're going to see that a lot, but we today is Jim and I.
Good job. Good job.
Do we all want to give Rick a quick hand? Let's give Rick a hand. Thanks, Rick. That's like the most work I've ever seen him do. Okay, so moving on, everybody. In that spirit, we've been looking at a tool, and I want y'all to know that one of the people that can't be here, I'm going to throw some names at you. Her name's Tracy Crownover, and she works with us. Tracy, when she is given a project, she works so hard and puts so much into it and so much research into it that when she did that, she came up with this tool that modernizes our emergency pendant system, okay, our emergency pull cords, all those things, provides powerful wellness insights, and we're going to unpack all of this. It empowers you to use it either all the way or part way or just unlock your door. We don't make that decision. It's called independent living. You make that decision. So we're here to roll that out to you so you can decide, how do I want to use this? Okay? Some of you have already come to me. Talked to somebody at the pool the other day that couldn't wait for this to come out the other day, this couple months ago. Because they know they can hit it, they can activate it in the pool if they have a problem. Wear it in the pool, wear it in the shower, wear it in the bath, wear it outside, wear it walking, wear it pickleball, wear it. So again, I think that's one of the main takeaways, that if I were to try to put myself in your shoes, kind of turn my back here and look at this and go, what do I want to take away from today? Sounds kind of intimidating to some people. Some people can't wait to have it. Some people hate technology. But you get to use it how you want. And not all of the technology we look at does that. It's kind of all in the pool or not in the pool. So let's keep going on that, but I just want everybody to remember that because there's a good chance we're going to come back to that at some point. So we analyzed technology solutions in the market, and the winner was our CarePredict. So we're going to roll that out. Do we have one, by the way? Does anybody have one on? Okay, Jim's got one on. Okay, we got a couple. Okay, good. Okay, so what is CarePredict? Wearable technology that keeps you safe and healthy, replaces the need for a security dependent, and has the added benefit of tracking and predicting health issues. It's a lot. It's to unpack right there. So, and we're going to go through that, everybody, of how that actually happens. Jim, I'm going to hand that over.
Thank you very
Meet
much.
Marie. She lives in independent living at a LifeSpace community. LifeSpace cares about its residents, so we strive to help them live independently longer. One way we do this is by providing residents a device called Tempo, powered by CarePredict. CarePredict is a technology company whose founder wanted to prolong his parents' quality of life and ensure they could stay independent longer, and Tempo was created. Tempo is a wrist-worn device that measures patterns and habits associated with the resident's wellness, such as blood pressure, social activity, and sleep patterns. It gives our team the ability to provide just-in-time interventions before something becomes an issue and to respond to a resident in the event of an emergency. Let's learn more by watching a short video.
In this senior living community enabled with CarePredict technology, residents go about their daily lives feeling safe. They know the staff will be there for them should any emergency occur. But the thing is, ever since the CarePredict system was installed, emergencies don't happen that often. At the slightest sign that something might be off, minor changes in someone's unique behavior, like taking longer to walk or waking up often at night, the system alerts the caregivers, allowing them to address whatever's happening before it becomes a significant health issue. Making everybody involved, caregivers and families, feel a lot less worried and a whole lot safer. It's a huge life-improving innovation in a slim device, which is also available for older adults at home and families who want the safety, security, and peace of mind from an ever-vigilant system watching over their loved one. But how does all this magic work? CarePredict has developed and patented a technology platform that uses precise location sensors and sensor-rich wrist-worn wearables to collect the richest and most comprehensive activity and behavior data available anywhere. Advanced kinematics and deep learning algorithms are utilized to accurately observe each elderly person through his or her daily activities, gathering data at every second to identify and chart their individual behavior patterns, so that at any significant deviation, not from the average elderly person's behavior, mind you, but from their own individual daily patterns, the system alerts for a possible sign of trouble when there's still time for relatives or caregivers to intervene. CarePredict exclusive predictive analytics can identify early signs of trouble in a way no other monitoring technology or self-reporting can match. With the amount of data collected about each person's patterns, potentially serious issues like increasing depression risk, urinary tract infections, and increasing fall risk. And it can do that for an elderly member of your family or for whole communities of older adults continuously 24/7. Making the whole system as sharp and vigilant as no single caregiver, either family related or professionally hired, could ever manage to be. At CarePredict, we're helping older adults live a longer, healthier, and safer life. We are empowering caregivers to give better, more proactive care, and we are giving families peace of mind.
Who was that? Who was that handsome guy? Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, so the question is, what's in it for you? All right. First of all, being able to do away with dependence and having one thing that basically does everything for you. Two-way communication. So if there is an emergency, all right, and you've fallen, say Jim Horson fell, I can actually push this, and it's a two-way radio. Well, it also tells me my time, my weight, my horoscope. But it goes directly to our security so that they know exactly where you are and they can respond immediately to you. The wellness insights, we talked a little bit about that. You'll determine how much data you want to gather, but really the beautiful thing about, and really personalized alerts, potential health issues, all right, those two, they'll kind of run hand in hand. That's really that's the beautiful thing about this, is it has the ability to be predictive, so that before you fall, we can be warned that there's that potential, or a UTI, or whatever these different health issues could be. And that, from a safety perspective, is huge. But again, you'll determine how much you want to be able to use it. And the last one is, it will also allow you access into your apartment, all right? And also, we'll hook it up to our system for snacks and for food. Sarah wasn't able to join us either. She was on that same flight, so I will be Sarah, all right? Not as good looking, but I'll try. There's a video that we're gonna play, and I think it is the one community that utilizes this, not to the fullest extent that we're looking to pilot it, but they use it, and it's a non-life space community. And so this is just a number of their residents kind of talking about it.
My name is Betty Busby, and I have lived here 10 years in independent living.
And I'm Gene Busby, and I've lived here the same 10 years.
Well, when they said we were going to wear a device, I was pleased, because before we had it around our neck, and I never wore it because it was awkward. You either had to put it under your shirt or top, and so I just never wore it, so I was glad to hear about it.
Well, I was glad to hear about it, but I was more curious as to, will it be effective to meet the needs of Maple Knoll and give us the safety that we would anticipate?
And Don King, I've lived in independent living for 6 years now. We had one we tested before, and I didn't like that at all. So this was a great advantage over what we had before.
I'm Barb, and I've lived in independent living for 6.5 years. We used to have pendants, and nobody wanted to wear those. So this is so much, I think everybody wears it. Well, not everybody, it's never 100%, but most people wear these all the time. So that's a good thing. It gives me peace of mind, because I think I'm connected somehow to someone who could get me help if I need it. And I wear mine all the time. And I change the battery every night, so I've got it all the time. Even when I leave campus, it doesn't work off of our campus, but I wear it all the time, so I don't forget to put it back on. I wear a watch too, which is probably ridiculous, but I think people might think this is like a Fitbit or something, and I look real with it. It doesn't bother me, but I have that on.
The easiest thing for me is I put it on every morning, and I wear it all day. Some people have different bands, so they have to match them to their outfit. I change bands for the summer, so I have a red one on.
The easiest thing is to simply put it on and get it on your wrist, and I wear it 24/7. I take it off once a day, essentially to change the battery. Well, and I do this at bathing times or shower times. And so it's on me 24/7.
Using the device is very comforting, because it's always on us, and my family and my kids were thrilled. So, I enjoy wearing it, and I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I look at it as not a big deal. We knew when we came to Maple Knoll, there would be some form of device that we would be wearing that would locate us by either GPS or triangulation. And the first one we had was the pennant, which we used reluctantly because it did produce a bulge under your shirt and so forth. But it's really no big deal. It's very simple, and living here is an expectation. When I was in the Air Force, I had to wear dog tags around my neck 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was used to it. And so when we try to migrate this pendant thing from your neck to your wrist, it's a good idea as far as I'm concerned.
There's nothing to it. I was fine with it. I was on the technology committee, so I knew it was coming, and I think it's a great thing. I really do think it makes so much sense. And even if you're out walking along and on the grounds on the campus and you fall, somebody knows where you are. It's got a GPS on it, know where you are, and come catch you. One time I was walking in there where it was a man who had fallen up by the gazebo, and people came right away and got him up and up. So, I think it's extremely important for our age group.
As I get older, I'm having trouble walking. So it's really a great comfort to have the watch, knowing that if I do fall and he's not around, that I can push it and get help right away. Because we both go our different ways every day and we're not always together. So I'm glad that someone is watching over or caring about us, and if I need help, I can get it. They probably know before I do.
Put it on your arm, which is convenient, and have the peace of mind that someone, if you needed someone, you can press on it, and you get someone to answer you and come help you if you need.
And independent living where we are not conscious of it now, but the device has capability of collecting various things about blood pressure, infection, UTI, but we don't look forward to that period of time, but we know it's coming. And so it's kind of comforting to know that the service and the analysis detail is there. Anything that can be predicted regarding health is a marvelous benefit.
I will live here forever. Well, not forever, for the rest of my life. I'm not going anywhere, but I do feel safer here because of this Tempo watch, by far. That is absolutely true. But the people who work here in this campus, it's just wonderful. They take such good care of us and make this so much, it's just a wonderful life here. But this is a safety thing that they've given us, and it's just a wonderful gift.
Now, they utilize this strictly for falls and safety, all right? We have the option of being able to have it for falls, safety, and medical data, all right? Preventative, preemptive medical data. So again, we're gonna be piloting this, and I've got some dates that we'll go through a little later on in the presentation. So, at a glance, we'll talk about the benefits, and all I'm really going to do is reiterate what you already heard, all right, in the various videos. Obviously, emergency alert, two-way calling, fall detection, all right, location, movement alert. Location's important. As many of you know, we spent a lot of time, money, and effort in creating a whole new backbone, Wi-Fi backbone for the campus. Part of that, the major part of that, was because of this, so that we can actually locate any resident anywhere within our campus at any time. And in order to be able to do that, we had to significantly upgrade our Wi-Fi. So we are now we're capable of being able to do that. From a wellness perspective, you've got predictive wellness insights, predictive wellness intervention. All right. Those two items, again, what it's doing is it takes about 3 weeks to create a baseline. And that baseline is based on you. It's not based on some average. So if I walk at a certain pace, it's going to create a baseline so that if all of a sudden, you know me, my gout, all of a sudden it changes, it's going to let Shelly Ann know right away, hey, something's happened with Horseman's Gait. Same thing with eating habits, all right, heart rate, all of those things. The care guide, and this is what's really interesting. The care guide, what that is let's say I'm a type 1 diabetic, all right? I've got a pump, I've got a glucometer that's a part of that. That can actually hook up into your wristband, all right? So any of these other devices that you might have, so long as it's modern and it's Wi-Fi capable, can actually link together, which is huge. And then if you want to be able to have, let's say you want to have your family members monitor how you're doing, they can do that. All right. Now that's your choice, but you've got a lot of variables that you control. But again, it goes back to being predictive safety. And then when you look at the experience, unlocking your apartment door, being able to just take the wristband, boom, unlock it. We're going to test. We've been told that even if the battery goes dead, you can still unlock your apartment, but that's part of what we're going to test to make sure that happens. Full count, all right, so from a restaurant perspective, you can use that for your charging. And then the insights of the resident app, I always forget this one.
The app that can be downloaded on your phone so that they can keep track of your predictive.
Okay, so I was telling you, so you can actually download all this data on your phone so that you can keep up with it, or whomever you want. All right, so CarePredict can be worn alone or alongside other smart devices. All right, how many people here have Apple Watches? I think quite a few. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about what the similarities are with the Apple Watch and what some of the unique differences are when it comes to what we have. But also when we talk about smart devices, it could be medical devices and so forth. It offers several advantages over products like Apple Watch and Fitbit, and we'll get into that a little bit too. All right, so what we did was we kind of did a comparison of the CarePredict Tempo, the Apple Watch, and Fitbit. And you'll see that in a number of cases, they do the same thing. CarePredict, more uniquely designed, all right, for A, people our age. B, it integrates seamlessly to our neighborhood, all right, our community. And the replaceable battery for constant wear, obviously with a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, you charge it. This, you just pull the battery out, put it back in. I mean, it takes all of 5 seconds literally to do. Activity tracking, right? They all do, all right? So Fitbit, Apple Watch, CarePredict, they're gonna track your walking, your steps, your sleeping, all of that. So they all do that. All right, eating and kitchen activity, bathroom patterns, social activity, that's unique. That's unique to CarePredict, and it's, again, based on your baseline. All right, and the goal, all right, the purpose of this is to be predictive, to make certain that we are, to the best of our ability, and you are aware of a situation that might occur before it occurs. Same thing, aids and fall down. The Apple Watch does that. Fitbit doesn't, believe it or not. But aids and fall detection, emergency call button. Apple Watch will dial 911. I think everybody knows that. And then 911 will contact you via your phone or via your watch, depending what the capability is. With us, our security, all right, will literally call you immediately on your tempo. All right, Jim Horseman, all right, we know where you are. Are you okay? We're on our way. So there's instant communication right there. And then monitoring by LifeSpace Wellness. Shelly Ann is the champion for that. So what we do is, if you so choose to have this monitor your health in a predictive way, Shelly will be able to, along with whomever else you determine, Shelly will be able to look at this data. And again, if Jim Horseman is walking differently, or or I'm having, there's a heart issue that I'm dealing with, she's going to be able to say, "Hey, Jim, we need to talk. All right, this is what we're seeing." All right, and by the way, that's Shelly Ann. All right, don't take over the show. It's my show. All right, now. All right. All right, and then again, fall risk, the Apple Watch does that, as does CarePredict. UTI is unique to CarePredict. Nutrition risks, unique to CarePredict. So again, preventative. You're going to hear me say that a lot. So here's, and I'm going to go through some dates with you real quickly, but the plan is that after we've done the pilot, all right, and we've got a number of champions in this room that are part of that. And we make certain that everything works the way it's supposed to work. And we tweak where we need to tweak to ensure that. We're going to pilot it for all of the residents that latter part of February, where everyone's going to have the opportunity to be able to put it on, to get it activated, and to use it as little or as much as you determine. And let me tell you something, all right? We have three types of residents. We have those that are early adopters. Yep, I want it. It makes sense to me. I want to try it. We have those that are, well, let's wait and see. And then we have those that are anti-technology. I'll never use it. Let me go back to my typewriter. Okay? So we're going to have that. That's going to be the same, the same situation. So timing. As you can see, all right, this is your first introduction to it, all right? We're going to be talking a lot more about it as time goes on, all right? Next week, there'll be additional materials that will be shared with everybody, and we're going to start the beacon installation. Now, please, this is really, really important. We have a team of installers coming in, and our engineering department will be with them. And they're going to install beacons in everybody's apartment. Now, the beacons are roughly the size of my name tag and about yay thick. Everybody see that? It'll take them about 10 to 15 minutes. Is that right, Sean? 10 to 15 minutes to put them in. It's mandatory. All right? So please, when we'll send information out to let you know what floors we're going to be on what days, but we need to allow them to come in, install them, all right, so that we can make certain that this whole system is up and operational. That's going to start next week, correct? All right, next week. More to come on that. The week of the 29th, we're going to go live with our resident champions so that they can start testing them. And we're going to test everything. Measurements, does this two-way radio work at the very corner of our community? If we were to fall, everything. So what we want to make certain of is that when we start the overall pilot, we've worked out pretty much every kink that we can imagine. Now, the following week, there'll be more training, more information that goes out, all right? And then we'll actually launch 21st, 22nd of February. As we are piloting this, and remember, we're piloting this for all of our communities, All right, we've been chosen to be the recipients of this. I was gonna say guinea pigs, but it's probably not the right word. But we've been chosen to pilot this. So we're gonna be getting feedback from everybody, all right? And, as well as we all plan, and you all, we know it in life, as well as you plan, there's always gonna be one thing or two things that you miss. This is our opportunity to make sure that before it goes out to the entire organization, we've got it right. So we're gonna be wanting to get a lot of input from the residents and so forth, from you all. All right, whoops, what did I do with my clicker? So, question and answers. Now, if I don't have an answer, we'll get an answer for you. All right, I know enough about what's going on with this to be dangerous. Okay, so I'll let you know now. Go ahead.
Jim, I only have 3 questions.
Oh, that's
First question, how much?
no cost to you, unless you lose it.
It's gonna be free ongoing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you lose it, I'm going to charge you an arm and a leg, or maybe just an arm. How much do we charge for a pendant right now if you lose a pendant? $195. All right. These are roughly $300 a pop. So as we roll this out, there'll be no charge to you. Just don't lose it. All right, that was question 1.
Second question, is it only good in this community?
Yes, good question. All right, this works within our 24 acres. All right, if you go outside the community, and Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, it'll still gather medical data, but your two-way radio, the emergency part, the locator, the GPS that you would have on an iPhone or a Apple Watch, all right, that does not.
Third question,
Hold on, he's got one more question.
it's shown on the video that if the lady falls, people will come to her aid. Is that true here also?
Yes, that's true. Our security team and our concierge team will have it's a special iPad, and it will notify them immediately of Jim Horseman falling, where he fell, and then they'll be able to, via two-way radio, get hold of Jim Horseman right away. Now, if Jim Horseman is unconscious, obviously they'll make a beeline, or EMTs will make a beeline to Jim Horseman. All right, who's got the next question?
I'd just like to ask you a few questions. In spite of this installation, do we still keep the fobs to open the doors?
Yes, the short answer is, even though, as it stands now, even though this will open your doors, I'm not gonna do away with the fobs until we really become more comfortable with this and so forth.
Oh, you intend to do away with the fobs to open our car doors for our apartments?
No.
Is that what you just said?
No, what I just said was, we're gonna keep the fobs to open your doors,
Yes.
all right? We will reevaluate as time goes on, because that's what this does, all right? Instead of a fob. But we're gonna keep the fobs for the foreseeable future. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand what I just said?
Yeah, well, you're assuming that we all have to wear this, and eventually, in order to open the garage door and to open the other doors in our apartments, we have to wear this because our fobs won't work.
Well, right now, all right, we haven't made that determination. It's too early, all right? So we're gonna keep the fobs.
The other question I'd like to ask you, how long does it take to charge this?
That's, Shelley-Ann, do you know what the answer is for that?
It takes 3 to 5 hours.
All right, it takes 3 to 5 hours, but there are 2 batteries per pack, all right? So you'll always have a charged battery, okay, when the other one's charging.
Okay, and the other question is, who are the caregivers that you keep talking about? Who's the caregiver here? We don't have any.
It could be a family member, all right?
We don't have a family member. Who is the caregiver? Who is the caregiver?
It can be a family, this is set up so it can be a family member, all right? It can be whomever you want to have that information.
What if you don't have a family?
Well, then you don't need to have them.
But you keep saying that a caregiver, if the alarm goes off, the caregiver answers it.
Oh, okay. Security, if the alarm goes off, in our case, and if I wasn't clear, that's okay. In our case, it would be our security department, all right, just like it is now. So if there's an emergency, all right, our security department responds, doesn't change.
Or the security department or concierge?
Concierge will also be a part of that.
Of the security department. And we don't have any EMTs.
Yeah, we do. We have an EMT 24/7.
24/7?
24/7.
Okay, I wish you put that in the community.
All right, so everybody knows we have EMTs 24/7. I actually met with all of them at 11:30 this morning to go through all of this. All right, who's got the next? Okay, go ahead.
Is that 24-hour service guaranteed, Jen, when
Yes,
someone's gonna be there and not an answering service?
yes. And that's the way it's set up right now. Okay?
And can this little gadget tell time, or do we have to wear a wristwatch? And
That's a great question. All right, so it does tell time, it tells you the date too, but you can't look at it and figure out the time, you gotta push the thing and listen to them.
If you fall off the property, will they give you a location?
No, this is only for within the community,
Do you have to change the batteries every night?
roughly every night. It takes literally 30 seconds. Yeah. All right, we're putting him to work, go ahead. No, behind you, sorry.
It sounds a little bit to me like Big Brother watching. I have problems. Does everyone have to know my bathroom patterns?
Well, you know what, you don't have to do that. All right, now listen, everyone, and again, I want to be really clear, all right? And trust me, I don't want to know your bathroom patterns, all right? But I want to be really clear. This device gives you the opportunity to be safer, all right? And it's able to get predictive information before, and we'll use UTIs as an example, all right? Bathroom patterns may have something to do with the formation of a UTI. Well, you sure as heck want to know about that before you actually get hit. So it's up to you, though, what the data is that's going to be collected, all right? And it may be that you want it to only go to a sibling or a doctor. That's fine, all right? So you have the right to use it as little or as much as possible. You saw the testimonials. Those weren't LifeSpace people. That was a whole different community. And you heard what they had to say about it, all right? Okay, who's next? What, right behind, I'm sorry.
Yes, I think you answered it. You said that if you fall, you can press the button and talk to the people. But then I think you answered it, if you're unconscious, they'll contact you in any case. The other thing is, if we choose to monitor all of the social and the UTI, et cetera, and then that would, Shelley Ann would be monitoring those things, is there a charge for that kind
No, there's no charge.
Okay.
There's no charge. All right, and by the way, just so everyone understands, there's some pretty strict ACA laws that we abide by with all of this, as far as keeping the data private. Okay, who's?
Right.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Do we get this phone automatically?
Yes.
It will arrive in my.
We're gonna have a gathering, all right? Where I think it's the 21st and 22nd, where we're gonna actually have you come down. We'll activate it for you and the works.
Very nice.
Okay. Now who's next? Okay, hold on. I've got here. Hit the front row too a little bit because there's some folks up here. These are all good questions, by the way.
My question is about the medical information. Does Shelley Ann only get it, or can we get it?
You can get it.
How do we get
you can download the app onto your phone, and it'll give you all of that data. So you can absolutely, and I mean, frankly speaking, I recommend that you do that. That's what I'm gonna do with mine.
I'd like to know where in your apartment they're gonna install that box.
That's a good question.
What was the question?
I think it's gonna really be, well, here, do you have an answer for that, Sean? Where do you not want it to be put? Okay. Oh, that's exactly where we're putting it. No. Go ahead, Sean.
My understanding, the installation will take place in the living room area, the bathroom area, and kitchen area. And that should be enough to, I guess, beacon around the entire apartment. In the event of an emergency, they will be able to locate you.
All right, so there are gonna be three
Yes.
locations. Bathroom area,
Right.
not necessarily in the bathroom, but the area. Kitchen area.
Correct.
And then what was the third? Living room?
Living area.
Okay. And remember, these devices are about 3 inches by 3 inches. They're not big.
Now, bear in mind, the scope of everyone's apartment is a little different, so there may be more, depending on the size.
Okay. All right, good. Good question. All right, who's next? Go ahead.
Am I to understand, are we to understand that Shelley Ann will be in control of all of the residents' database?
You understand correctly. Only one person, that'll be Shelley Ann.
Does she have the staff to do that?
They have the capability of being able to monitor. She'll get alarms if again, I'll use myself as an example. If all of a sudden I'm going in the bathroom 8 times a night, and it's not because I drank a lot of beer, all right, she'll be able to sit there and say, hey, Jim, we need to take a look at this. All right, an alarm will go off on her data point.
And she will be able to respond to all residents.
Yeah. Okay, good question. All right, who's next? Oh,
I'm very sorry, missed the beginning of this because I had my physical therapist upstairs. I want to know, Karen, where this going to go into the swimming pool?
yes, yeah, just so everybody understands, it's water resistant, so you can wear it in the shower, you can wear it in the swimming pool, all right? There was an interesting comment made about the bands, all right? And that you want to, if you're gonna be wearing it into the swimming pool or into the shower, I wanna make sure I say this right, you want a waterproof band. Well, not one that retains water because of skin and so forth. Did I say that right? Okay, good. All right. So to answer your question. All right, who's next?
Right here.
Well, right here.
I have a question. Shelley Ann is one person, so do we have a staff of rotating people who will be awake and alert when emergencies are?
Well, now remember, from an emergency standpoint, the EMTs, and they are here 24/7.
Right.
All right. So they will, just like they do now, they will respond. Shelley Ann is going to really be the one that's tracking any kind of deviation from your norm.
Which is something that then she can call.
And then she'll, and then discreetly sit down with you and say, hey, this is what we're seeing. Okay, go ahead. Is that a good watch?
I mean, is it for?
It looks like a good watch. Now, this is good for normal stuff, all right? It won't open your door. It won't, and it won't track a lot of that medical information that you want, but we'll talk more about that, okay? All right, but that's a good, listen, it's good that you have that. All right. Oh, Doc.
Have, 2 questions. One is in the original flyer that you sent out, the very first sheet, it says it decreases falling 39%. Falling is spontaneous.
All right, I'll tell you how it does that.
Tell me how it does.
All right, I'll tell you how it does that. All right, it's preemptive. So before it will, and again, I'll use as an example, my gait. All right, if my gait changes, then that can be an increased What sort I want to use? Say it? Indicator, word, all right. An increased indicator of a potential fall. So if they can get me properly using, maybe it's a walker, all right? Before I fall, it's prevented a fall. What's your next question?
Next question is, will you do a survey of your community to find safety issues, such as legs of chairs that stick out? I've fallen on those twice. Such as chairs that you can't even move, that are supposed to have sliders, and you can't move them, and you can hurt your back. Those are all safety precautions. And the last thing I would like to suggest is that these watches are used to determine whether or not people who are coming in to buy an apartment are really hazards to Harbours Edge.
Boy, that would be, now that would be a tough sell. Hey, by the way, I want you to put this on for weeks, all right? And yeah, and we'll make that determination. But listen, Michael's point's a very good one as it relates to chairs and whatnot, making certain that if they're supposed to roll, they should roll, and that's something that we should continually look at. So I'm in agreement with you on that 100%. All right, who's next? All right, go ahead.
I had a situation where my daughter asked me what my combination to my safe was. That evening, when someone thought I was asleep, came in and took money out of my safe.
Okay, that's something that we can discuss. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. It's important, all right? But we'll discuss that after this particular meeting, all right? Who's next? All right, go ahead, Lloyd.
Speaking for the finance committee, just a question. Nothing is free, we know that. Are we paying the full amount? Is like communities paying part of it? How do we work the finance out?
As it stands right now, Life-Space Communities is picking up the overall cost. So as it stands right now, that's what you're paying. All right, good question. All right, who's next? Go ahead.
Jim, I have a question that my sister asked me to ask you on this, because she and I both have fobs in my mother's apartment. And then our aides use the fobs to run for the bail or do things for my mother. Like our aide brought my mother down here, but she went back up into the apartment to stay. If my mother's using the watch, how would our aides,
They'll still have fobs to use.
They'll still have fobs
Yeah,
to use.
they'll still have fobs to use.
Okay.
All right.
I just wanted to say, I was told today that if you go in the shower and you want to take off your watch, there's something that they can give us to put in our shower so we can hang our watch there. It doesn't have to get wet. And if something should happen, we could then push.
Yeah, actually, that's true. There's a little hook that they can put in the shower so that if you don't want to wear the watch while you're showering, you can at least have it in the shower so that, God forbid, there's an emergency. All right, you can hit the button. Okay, couple more questions here. This is good stuff.
You said we have EMTs on duty 24/7.
That is correct.
How many and where are they?
Every shift, we have at least one EMT. And
For both buildings?
yeah, we have one EMT, all right? All right, we understand, it's worked out very, very well, all right? You have, for every shift, there's an EMT, all right, that is on duty. We're the only community that even has that, all right? And I can tell you, there are a number of residents that have used it, and thank God for that. All right, something a little less controversial. Okay, go ahead.
In today's world, nothing is for nothing. Do you sell our names or anything to any outsiders?
Oh, that's a great question. No, your name is safe. We don't sell any data. Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
That's a good question. No, we don't sell. I may keep a little data on you. No, I'm only kidding. All right, no, we don't. That's a great question.
When are the people that use the current devices, like my mother wears one on the wrist, will that be gone on February 21st, or is there be some overlap?
There may be some overlap. We haven't made that decision yet, because this will
As long as
do,
that's working. then it will-
yeah, and that's it. And I want to make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to, but this will make that
In any
antiquated.
case, you should have before.
Yeah.
Before you make everybody wear.
I'm not gonna put it on anybody's wrist, other than the champions, all right? On anybody's wrist
Another
before.
question, I wasn't sure what I heard. Are you saying, and we know there's no cost now, but is there ever gonna be a cost, or is this forever?
I have no idea on that one, all right? I have no idea.
So
I'm not gonna,
you only guarantee 1 year?
yeah, I'm not gonna speculate. That's information I don't know. I can tell you where I stand on it. I'm a huge proponent of it's cost of doing business, all right? Plain and simply, your service fees are part of that, just like you get a fob, all right? And so there shouldn't be, but that is, I don't know. All right, who? I gotta wait with the microphone, people. There you go, Al.
Is there any negative to this?
Is there any negative to this? Other than as a fashion statement, it's not exactly Cartier. All right, yeah. I don't see a negative to it, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. Because if you use it strictly to get into your apartment in case of an emergency, it's great. And it's light, it's unobtrusive. If you want to use it for preventative medical, you've got it there. All right. So I don't see it negative. I wish it was a little slimmer, to be honest with you, but I think the second generation is supposed to be that way. And by the way, for those of you who don't like the basic black, you get all sorts of different blinged out choice of all sorts of different blinged out bands. All right, a couple more questions.
Does this work outside of Harbours Edge?
No, two things. It will continue to gather medical data outside of Harbours Edge, but from an emergency standpoint, it does not. It's only for our campus.
So we need to wear 2 watches, basically.
Yeah, if you're going to have that, yes. All right, go ahead.
Who manufactured the temple, and is it a warranty that comes with it? And for how long is it warranty?
I have no idea. All right, but here's yeah, you can tell who the patent lawyer was. No, we can find out who the manufacturer is, number one. I'm sure there's some sort of a warranty, but if for some reason it doesn't last, then if it's through no fault of your own, you replace it. All right, but it's a good question.
How does life space benefit? You're doing a great deed, but you must be benefiting somehow.
I'll tell you how we benefit. Our charge is to ensure. Now, this is all kidding aside now. Our charge is to ensure that you live a long, productive, independent life. That is our mission. That is what we're here for. And frankly speaking, that's why we do it. Period.
So
All right.
everybody, let me jump into, because I represent about half the life space on that question. Because I've heard, is it free? Do we sell your data? Do we, I've heard a lot of those questions. They're great. I'm not knocking those down. But what I am telling you is the answer to all of those is no. This is your data. Remember what I said when I talked in slide 2? Last thing on your left, my right, was, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, follow the bouncing ball. So just bear with me. So what the last thing I said was, you determine how much of your data is shared. And I told you, I've been doing this for 25 years. I know I don't look it, but I have.
Oh, he looks it.
This would come back up, right? So how do we benefit? The other thing of what I said is, while we want to give you all the best food, and the best lifestyle folks in the world. Number one, no, I'm not going there. Be careful.
I'm leaving now.
Be careful. Number one was safety. If you ask me a question, which is what I said, if you ask me a question and I need to do something, but it trumps other people's safety, the answer to that is no. And I'll give you an example. We've had staff that used to work here. They can't come back on campus and we can't tell you why. And you may call and say, hey, I want that staff member to come back, that team member. My answer is no. You're mad, the staff member can't come back. I know something you don't know that I can't legally share with you, but my number one priority is your safety. So part 2 of that. Honestly, we benefit by you staying here longer. We don't want you to move, okay? We don't.
One way or the other, we don't want you to move.
Right. Some people may say, oh, well, you want unit turnover. No, we don't. Oh, well, you want to move to assisted living. No, we don't. We don't. And that's how we're going to benefit, is you're going to be in independent living longer. That's what I see this doing. Now, I am not, anybody know with the phrase hellfire and brimstone preacher? I'm not one. But when I ran a company and we had a retirement community side and we had a home health, LPS, a sitter service, companion service, we had a little bit of a different technology. Okay, not this, so this doesn't have anything to do with it, but what I'm about to say in a minute. Our technology was motion detectors. We could tell how many times you got up during the night. It's amazing how many times people go to the refrigerator during the day. The average is 17, by the way. So that's what it told us. But what it also did was it learned patterns, okay? It learned patterns that Jim is usually up between 6 and 6:30 every day. Well, it's 7:30 and Jim's not up. So we're not watching him, but the motion detector told us Jim isn't up, we need to go check. And we found a resident with a very, very high fever, and we ended up saving her life because of the technology. Okay, this is light years beyond that in what it can do. That was just a motion detector. So that's where I want to go with this on everybody, and that's how we benefit. Plain and simple, your safety. We want you to be safe. If this adds to that, like I said earlier, I knew the pool question would come up, and it did, is being safer in the pool. So you're safer in the pool with this if you wear it. And again, you determine what you want us to know. Jim can't go in and dig into your information. Okay? That's not possible. So Jim's not going to go in and dig into your information. But does that answer everything? Good? Yes, sort of? Kind of? A little? Okay.
She's a little skeptical still, but that's okay. All right, a couple more questions. All right, we have Rick. Seeing you move this quickly is just amazing. Jeez.
How long does it take, and to whom do we input, who do we give our data to?
Okay, how long does it take for what?
To input the data.
Oh, okay. The Shelley Ann, and there'll be a team here on the 21st and 22nd, and they will set up your watches to create a baseline. Now, here's what you have to understand. You're not going to input data into it, all right? Here's what the watch is going to. Now, hold on, there's a caveat to that. If you're going to team it up with other devices, then there will be some inputting involved. But as it relates to your baseline, it's going to take about 3 weeks for this to read what your baseline is. All right. And then as time goes on, all right, it'll gather more and more information. And when there's a deviation from that baseline, and I always use a change of gait because for me, that's a big deal. It'll make note of that. Did that answer your question?
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yes, I have
No, you're good. Just speak into
I have
it.
a question. Do you have to sleep with it?
Do you, that's all sorts of things came to my mind, but sorry guys, that's where I was going. You don't have to, but if you're not wearing it, it's not gathering data. So the recommendation would be that you sleep with it, all right? If you want to have that data gathered. Okay? Did it answer your question? It wasn't the answer you wanted.
Losing the crowd.
Hold on 1 second. He's finishing his question. No, actually, if you leave the premises, I'm going to say it again because it's important. Keep it on because it's still gathering data for you. All right? What it won't do, it won't, hey, this is Jim Horseman, I fall and I can't get up. All right? So it's not going to have the GPS or the emergency two-way radio, but it will gather all that other information. Okay, look, right back here again.
Yes, I'm concerned about personnel responding to this. I got a call one day at about noon, and I said, are you okay? And I said, I'm fine, I'm at the grocery store. She said, well, we noticed you hadn't moved yet this morning. I also got up at 6 o'clock. They waited if they hadn't noticed I hadn't moved till noon, and I was fine. I don't know what happened there. And then that's something that we need to have the correct personnel to respond to these things. Also, if you're sleeping at night and you have a problem with sleep, I don't know what people have, sleep apnea or something, or you stop breathing or irregular breathing, who's monitoring that in the nighttime where you might be in a crisis?
Couple of things. The first one has to do with, we use the old system. Now we have the motion sensor. So the concierge typically will check that. That's a separate issue. We can get into that. As it relates to with sleep apnea or if you have any kind of disorder, that's all going to, let's say I'm trying to say this word, irregular breathing, all right, or heartbeat. It's going to track that, so that'll become your base. I have an irregular heartbeat, all right. So that would be, this is going to track what that is, okay? So that you have it.
And if you're in distress in the middle of the night, is anybody going to be able to?
Well, if you are in, that's a good, it's a good question. If you're in distress in the middle of the night and you're capable of, hey, it's like pulling the pull cord, all right? I'm in distress, help. You can do that, all right? And the EMT will respond immediately, all right? And that's a great question, all right? And, if there are anomalies in heartbeat or whatever, that becomes part of your base, all right? Now, if all of a sudden my heart works perfectly, they're gonna wonder what happened, but, go ahead.
Jim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, conceivably, everybody ultimately present here now will be wearing the special device. How much information can the receiving end handle when we have hundreds of people that are wearing the device and at least 5%, 10%, 20% may be calling in information? How much information can this receiving end handle?
That is actually a great question. There's huge bandwidth, all right, when it comes to the data, and that's also part of why we built out the Wi-Fi backbone. Huge amount of data. You could have 5 times the population, and it's going to be able to collect all that data. But that is a great question. All right,
Jim?
here we go. One minute. Yeah, I'm gonna still have it. The question here was, are you still gonna have the emergency pull buttons? Absolutely. All right, I want redundancy. Now, God forbid you lose it, you forget to charge it, whatever. All right, we gotta have redundancy and from an emergency perspective. Okay, go ahead.
It seems to me that there's an awful lot of information that's being fed into this device. And you've got a lot of people living in this community. How often does it get monitored, or how can it get monitored? Not everybody's heart rate is checked on a daily basis.
Yeah, and again, it's a great question. Understand, what Shelley Ann is gonna see is anything that is a deviation from your baseline. So, and again, I use my stride as an example. If I have a stride that's a certain way, and all of a sudden it changes, that's when she's gonna find out. That's when it's gonna make note. Now, if it never changes, she's not gonna have to do anything. Or if the heart rate changes, or if I'm getting up 5 times during the course of the night instead of 1 time, all right, that's when it's gonna notate that. Did that answer your question? Okay, good. All right, couple more. We're gonna go over, who's got the mic? Come on, Rick.
Who is Shelley Ann? I would like to see.
Okay, Shelley Ann, she just waved over to everybody. All right, we're gonna put her right up here.
Why don't you tell our background?
All right, hey, by the way, all right, we're gonna give you, not so tight. No, we're gonna give you tight, no. Let me give you a little of her background, all kidding aside. Well, you're gonna give us a little of your background. I know how much you love talking in front of everybody. I know, I'm very shy too.
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm Shelley Ann. I'm Shelley Ann. I've been a nurse for 13 years, and I've worked in acute, such as a hospital acute setting. I've worked in, I've also worked in independent living. I've been working in independent living for at least 12 years. And I have also worked in skilled nursing facilities, which is like your nursing home. And this is not new to me. And the technology that we're using, it's advanced, but the technology isn't new either. So I will be able to track your information through the computer with whatever device that you're using, and that is how I will track it. So I know that we all of us, we're still learning, and you maybe don't know exactly what to expect, but we just have to give it some time, and we will learn as we go along, okay?
Please tell everyone how they can contact you.
All right, the question was, how can you be contacted?
I am in the directory, the telephone directory, and I'm also on the app under health and wellness. Okay? And my office, if you need to speak with me, my office is in the salon.
In the wire?
In the salon.
You know that little office, if you go into the salon on the right-hand side? She does not do nails, I'm telling you right now. All right? All right, go ahead, Doc.
Is this system backed up by our backup generators in the event that we lose power?
That, I was waiting for someone to come up with that question, and the answer is no. Currently, no. So, if we have a hurricane, listen to this now. If we have a hurricane and we lose power for 24, 48 hours, whatever, all right, that's going to impact this as it stands now. One of the things we are looking at is there a way of being able to create, and it's not so easy because you've got to have certain outlets and all of that, but being able to create a way to keep these charged. All right?
This is all very great, and that technology is great, but unless there's a beeper where there are hundreds of people here, unless there's a beeper, she's not going to be watching those. The input for emergency.
So I'm
So you have.
okay. The way the system is set up and the technology and the bandwidth, you can get the constant feed of data and it can be used for emergency. There's ample bandwidth for that. All right?
No,
That's
but
not,
I'm saying about the receiving end of it.
yeah.
How is she going to see 300 people?
But remember,
Unless there's a beeper that comes to her attention.
yeah, and again, I want to remind everybody, the only time Shelley Ann is going to be notified that something isn't the same is if there is a deviation from your baseline. So if you're, if your baseline is absolutely fine, no issues, she's not going to get a notification. If your baseline changes, heart rate changes, arm movement changes, stride changes, that's when she'll get a notification.
Okay, that's mind-boggling. Now I have one more. I wear an Apple Watch, as I see a lot of others do. All this technology is fine while we're home on campus. What happens when I go out? This
You'll
takes
still
care of
wear it.
home,
You'll
and it
still,
takes care
yeah,
of
no.
us.
Here's my recommendation. If you have an Apple Watch, they're great. Use it when you're off campus. Use it while you're on campus. All right? This, you always want to use while you're on campus. And, you know, as I think a couple of the residents mentioned in the video, they wear them both all the time.
There goes my bracelets.
Well, I have to make sure you get some really good bling. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Why is it that the RF test results that were sent to the FCC, why were they done in a lab in China instead of a lab here in the US?
What's
No. Why were the tests done in China instead of here?
Which tests?
The RF tests.
I have no earthly idea. I don't even know where to get the answer for that one. Okay. All right. Doc, right back here.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems the audience doesn't,
Everyone, please.
that doesn't really understand, or they're under the impression that this is monitoring is done at a real time, when it probably isn't. It's retrospectively picked up later. So no one's gonna be sitting at a monitor 24 hours a day and looking at 300 people's tracing. And therein lies some of the questions and problems. And
Good,
I think
very good,
that
very good
has
point.
to be explained better. Shelley can come in the next morning and there's some little marker that says 15 people that went to the bathroom 35 times. So she's gonna look at this 5 hours, 10 hours later and do something. Suppose Jim Horstman is sleeping and he starts having PVCs and he's not aware of it, he could die in 5 minutes. She's not gonna know about it until 10 hours later. So I think that needs to be clarified.
All right. So did everyone understand what he just said? All right. I'm going to have you do the presentation next time. All right. Because you're spot on. All right. And so what Dr. Fallon was saying was the data that Shelley Ann gets, you know, it's data that's been gathered up 24 hours, you know, ago, and she's looking at it. So it's not like she's standing there 24/7 in front of a monitor. All right, what's Horstman doing now? Okay, and you know, then you've got the emergency side of it, where you know you can pull a pull cord as it stands now. But if you have this, all right, you can immediately contact the EMT. All right, and I was not clear enough in how I explained that.
I have a quick question.
Where am I looking?
Okay, here, okay.
Oh, sorry.
I still don't understand, do you have to tap it or touch it when you need help? Or it absorbs your life?
Well, if you fall, it'll automatically.
Yeah, but if you're talking and having an argument with your husband, will that be picked up?
What are you trying to say?
No, I don't understand you say.
Are you a beaten man? No. No,
understand.
it doesn't listen. It's not like Cirrus.
Yeah, it's just, if you have an emergency, you have to tap it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, what, everybody, all right, the question was, do you have to tap it in order for it to be able to hear anything? The answer is yes. So it's not like Alexa, where it's listening to you all the time.
And I'm also concerned for all of us who are not comfortable with challenged with iPhones and so on. Our poor Roswell is trying to handle all the hundreds of questions to feed information.
Well, you know what? Roswell brought that up too. All right. That was actually, when we talked about this technology, that was the first thing he asked. He goes, can I go on vacation for 6 months? We're actually going to have different folks trained on how to do this.
But the last question is, we're lap swimmers and we're in the water for a whole hour under the water, warm water. Is it going to affect it?
We're going to have to try and see if that does. That's a great question. That's why we're piloting it. Okay. All right. I think I've answered most questions. There are going to be more questions, all right? More education as it comes along. Ask away. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it very much.